AITA for telling my mom I will move out versus paying $600 a month rent? I'm 25 years old. Was paying $60 a week rent for a few years. I recently started a new temp job that pays pretty decent. And they decided to keep me with the company last week. This morning my mom texted me to say, rent starts up again. $150 a week. I just told her I will move out. I already pay for my own meals. I only have my small bedroom to call my own in their house. I can rent a studio apartment 3 or 4 times the size of my room for a few hundred more. Or could rent a room with friends for less than my mom is trying to charge me. It would be one thing if they cooked and cleaned for me every day and I was raking up their bills. But I do my own thing. Pay my own bills. I never really even cross paths with my parents besides when I am getting off work. My mom's definitely pissed that I said that. I can tell. But I'm also upset the person who birthed me is trying to get me to pay what I would pay a landlord for rent just to sleep in her house. Even $100 a week I would have been more inclined to be okay with. But $600 a month just to be able to sleep at my parents' house seems a little high. If I am paying $600 a month, I think I would deserve my own spaces around the house also as I would with a landlord. It seems having a landlord would be a better deal for me in this case. Info. Where do you live? What's the cost of living? Have you looked at the rental market recently? $600 for a studio. What about utilities? Internet? Renter's insurance? Will you have to use a laundromat? Have you calculated that cost into your monthly budget? You should sit down and calculate these numbers. Better yet, sit down with your mom. Look at comparables and calculate all the additional costs you weren't paying at $60 a week. Also, do you have furniture? A lot goes into getting an apartment. Do you make 23 times over the monthly rent? That's what places are asking for. If you don't and you don't have references, they'll ask you for a cosigner to guarantee you'll be able to afford rent. Also, do you have enough to pay first and last months? You aren't just paying for a room. You're paying into all those costs as well. Be sure you can afford it before you go off. Nah 1. It's their house and you're 25. If she wants to charge you rent, she can too. You're 25 and you should absolutely have the right to say you want to move out at that price and actually move out. Nah, she can charge you rent. You can either accept it or move out. There's really nothing nefarious going on. NTA. You can do whatever you want. I'd be curious to know if pay my own bills includes things like natural gas, electric, internet, etc., or just things like gas and your phone. $600 for an apartment on your own seems highly unlikely, but maybe where you live it's doable. You'd be looking to add a few hundred for utilities on top of that. At the end of the day, just don't put yourself in a financial bind out of stubbornness. It's worth dealing with your folks if it sets you up for a better, sustainable future. Best of luck. NTA. Mom has no right to be mad at you for moving out. However, quit the person who birthed me nonsense. $600 is too much, but $400 is fine for mothers? Who came up with that arbitrary line? NaH. Rent starts up again. Sounds like she was giving you a free ride for a bit and then gave you a week to celebrate the job before informing you it was time to start adulting again. She seems like a great mom. You have no obligation to live with your parents. Her being upset may just be because you're leaving, and that can be hard on parents. How did you phrase it? Because if you were like, I appreciate having lived with you, but I think it's the right time for me to get my own place, she's tall. But if you took it really personally and went off on her, I get why she would be pissed. But yeah, you should move out. Nah, you should move out. You need a life as an independent adult. Although you claim you're independent at home, it is just not the same thing as living on your own. However, your mom is not an for charging a 25-year-old rent, especially as it seems you got a pass on rent for an extended period of time because you couldn't afford it. Nah, but let me break it down for you. Rent, $600. Food, necessities, $300. Cheap budget, electric, $100. Trash, water, $50,100. Depending on where you live. Laundry, $30 a month, if you have to use a laundromat. Internet, $40,100. Depending on what you get. Gas, car, $60. AVG, if you drive more and have a big truck, it will be more. Car insurance, $100. Might be higher depending on driving record. Cell phone, $100. For an iPhone, minimum. Renter's insurance, $40. Shop around. Might find better deals. Assuming you do not have to pay anything else, you are looking at about $1,350 before you do things like make a car payment, streaming services, pay for dates, buy clothes, business, go to the doctor, get an oil change, replace a flat tire, play any online video games, want to eat out, DoorDash, Uber Eats, go to a concert, do anything other than just survive. It is insanely expensive to be out in the wild right now. Groceries at $300 a month is you living on the barest of bare foods. It can be done. I did it for a couple of years. But it gets hard to look forward to always eating the toughest meat. The same bland cereals, ramen, or whatever your food of choice ends up being. You will be able to stomach it for a few months. But then you are going to want something besides a sandwich and chips. You can absolutely cut some costs too. You can give up your smartphone for a flip phone and save $80 a month. You can get the slowest of internet speeds and save another $50. You can wear your rotation of work clothes, home clothes 34 times before you wash them. But they will wear out faster if you do that. You can get rid of your car and use public transportation, which is still going to cost you time and money, but not as much as a car payment or car insurance. Just be prepared for living on your own. Anyone who has ever ventured out always thought they could do it on their own, got hit in the face with reality, had to make some hard decisions, and eventually adjusted and are doing just fine. You will too. Just don't go into it thinking you are not going to have sacrificed some of the things you are used to. Nah, you have the right to decide if you want to live in that space with your parents. Pay more to live on your own, or pay less to live with, potentially more than two friends. You can absolutely choose to move out. However, your parents definitely have the right to determine the amount of rent. It doesn't matter if she is your mother. Not that this is relevant, but they too are humans with costs and retirement to think about. And you are now an adult who doesn't need to be supported. Info. Where on God's green earth are you renting a halfway decent studio for less than $1,000? Not to mention utilities and internet. Sometimes trash service or laundry fees. I want to go to there. Joke's on you, they want you to move out. But I'm also upset the person who birthed me is trying to get me to pay what I would pay a landlord for rent just to sleep in her house. You know, parents have bills and utilities to pay. Also, you're only entitled to free room and board until you're a legal adult. If I am paying $600 a month, I think I would deserve my own spaces around the house also as I would with a landlord. Lol. If you can swing it for $600, go for it. Where I come from, $600 per month would get you a shared bedroom, a half bath, and access to a garden hose with a 3-minute shut-off timer to shower with. Despite coming off a little naive, You're definitely NTA. I'm not sure why she would be angry unless she was genuinely depending on the income she got from you to pay bills. If she was only depending on it for luxuries and fun money, then she's extra ahish. NTA. My parents did this to me in 1985. I moved out, got a roommate, saved money, had fun, and never looked back. I'm almost 60 now and I have no regrets. You shouldn't live with your parents forever. You grow best when you have room to grow on your own. NTA. You're 25 and already basically living as if alone. Time to do it for real. Your room in your parents' house should be your safety net. A place to crash should your apartment burn down or some other such catastrophe. Once you've got your own place, go visit regularly. Bring fruit or other treats. I'm sure your relationship with them will improve. They'll be glad to see you. You'll probably get more free meals as a welcome visitor than you do right now. NTA. Move out, it will be worth the extra money. Some parents don't realize how different things are now with costs of living compared to when they were young. It's a totally different ball game. Think it's a good idea to move out. Doesn't seem to be a healthy relationship and independence is probably overdue. Distance might help heal some tension also. Nah, at 25 it's not odd that they want you to pay more. And it's fair for you to say you'll just move out. But you do have to move out and take on paying for everything, which might end up more expensive than the $600 a month than your mom is currently offering. Nah, where I live, you couldn't get a single room with no access to the other parts of the house for $600 a month. Let alone bills and food on top. You say you pay your own bills, but unless you're paying for gas, electricity, water, rates, insurance, etc., you really have no idea how much it costs to run a household. They still have to pay land taxes or rates every year or whatever your country charges for home ownership. There's so many hidden costs to running a household that you will be absolutely oblivious to, because it's never been a you problem. Especially when you have an extra fully grown adult using utilities and not contributing to the additional costs because they pay for their room. I suggest you tally what it would actually cost to live out of home. You don't mention if there's other items that your mother pays for you, like groceries and subscriptions that you take advantage of. Even things like health insurance, etc., need to be factored in. Now, I'm not saying this because I think you should realize that it costs more to run a household than you think it does. I'm pretty sure that a few months out of home will clear that up really quickly for you. But tallying the information means that you have an idea of what you'll be paying when you move out. And that's going to be very important for you to avoid eating ramen for weeks at a time. It also will help your mother that you want to see what it realistically costs to have another grown adult in their house. She'll see that you're serious about seeing things from her perspective, and that might help with the relationship. If you crunch the numbers and still think it'd be cheaper, then at the end of the day it's a win-win financially, because her running costs will be reduced and you'll get to experience life as a fully independent adult.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.